What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu. You're watching the Ragin Ronin review. Happy New Year to everybody out there. We're gonna kick off 2015 with a bang because this is the very first video of 2015, and that would be a top 10 list. And it is, of course, my top 10 films of 2014. Can you believe that the very first video of 2015 is talking about 2014? Anyways, I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this list, especially because 2014 just so happened to be the biggest year in fandom movie history. There was a lot of fandom nerdy films from all these big franchises, from the comic book world to movies like The Hobbit and The Hunger Games and Transformers. It was a really big year. Not so big box office wise, considering that 2014 was probably the lowest box office year in 20 years. But still, there was a huge selection of really awesome films. Okay, and that's why we got to do this list. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna start off number 10 with Transformers Age of Extinction. Now you're probably wondering, why is Transformers Age of Extinction on the bottom of my list? Well, it's at the bottom for a number of reasons, but it still ended up in the top 10 list, which is still a good film. All these films in my top 10 list mean a lot to me, and Transformers Age of Extinction did mean a lot to me. It was thoroughly entertaining. It was full of script and story problems, but still, it went out with a bang, Michael Bay style, and I ended up watching this film 7 times. 1 time in regular 3D, 5 times in IMAX 3D, and then another time in Japan in IMAX 3D. So it was definitely a movie which really had a huge impact in 2014, at least for me. Ended up buying a lot of toys, ended up watching it many times and many more times on Blu-ray. So Transformers Age of Extinction is number 10. Number 9 is Edge of Tomorrow. I really enjoyed this film. I thought that this would be your standard Tom Cruise action fare, but it wasn't. It was very different to me. I thought the story was really great. I thought that Tom Cruise's character was something that we've never seen before, and at the end of it all, it was a very thoroughly entertaining film. All right, Edge of Tomorrow is number 9. Number 8 is Lone Survivor, starring Mark Wahlberg. Now, this was a very intense military drama. I ended up seeing this movie 2 times in the theater, and both times it rocked my socks. There was a lot of times where you're just like, ooh, and cringing just because of like all the crazy things and like crazy stunts that the actors had to go through, which made the movie so believable. And just to know that this was based off a true story just makes it that much more intense, and you're just so so invested in the survival of these soldiers. So very intense film. Definitely need to check it out if you are especially a military film enthusiast. Number 7 is Gone Girl, from one of my favorite directors of all time. That would be David Fincher. And wow, Gone Girl is a very impressive film. I mean, David Fincher's always given us these really dark, suspenseful films, and this is definitely no exception because wow, this movie really just caught me off guard. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it would just be your typical kidnapping mystery, but it was so much more than that. It was very psychological. It really is creepy and gets into your mind, and I really recommend this film for people who are looking for a good thriller. All right? Moving on, we got number 6, and that is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. It is a sequel to Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and I thought that this sequel, or rather this installment in the franchise, is a very impressive installment. I thought the Rise of the Planet of the Apes was very good, and now Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is even better, and it has a lot to do with the believability of the ape characters, the motion capture, the visual effects, and just the acting from Andy Serkis and company. They did such a great job making the ape characters just as, if not more than, more significant than the human characters. As a matter of fact, that I thought that Caesar was the main character of the movie, not the character played by Jason Clarke, mainly because he's so dominant in the movie. And wow, very, very impressive. Okay. Moving on, we're going to our top 5, and we're going to kick off number 5 with X-Men Days of Future Past. This has got to be the best installment in the X-Men franchise. I was really amazed by how they tied it all together. And Bryan Singer had a really tough job. That tough job being that he had to I guess, bring the franchise back by bringing back the old characters and fix up the whole franchise. He basically pressed the reset button. All the stuff that was screwed up in X-Men Origins Wolverine and X-Men Last Stand, he just totally disregarded everything, but he didn't ignore it. He made it all fit in, and he did such a good job doing that, and it tied so well together. And to top things off, this was a very great story-driven installment in the franchise. It wasn't just all action, it was a great story that really just makes you want more, and it makes you really excited for the next installment, X-Men Apocalypse. All right, so that's number 5. Number 4 is the Lego Movie. The Lego Movie was really, really funny and really action-packed, and visually it was stunning. Okay, it was a movie that really blew me away in its just visually and how entertaining it was. I don't watch a whole lot of cartoons on the big screen, but I make an exception to some unique animated films, and I thought that the Lego Movie was a very unique film, and the writing is hilarious. The direction is just perfect, and of course the voice acting, especially by Chris Pratt, was just spot on. Okay, he was the perfect choice to play the main Lego character. I think his character's name is Emmett, I think. But anyways, everybody did such a great job in this film, and it's highly recommended. Number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy, a movie that I ended up watching twice in IMAX 3D, and I gotta say that James Gunn really brought a whole new level to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He took it to the cosmic realm. I mean, when we I think we were first introduced into the cosmic realm of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Thor. Before that, everything was all grounded. A lot of the stories were, it took place on Earth, but then Thor introduced us to the nether realms, and then now we're seeing Guardians of the Galaxy, which takes us to like deep outer space. It brings almost kind of like a Star Wars element into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it just expands the entire story universe. So I was really surprisingly impressed by how good this movie turned out. When I first saw the trailer, I knew it was going to be good, but I knew that a lot of people had doubts just because they didn't know what this movie was about, and I didn't even have any knowledge of the source material. But something told me that James Gunn, being the brilliant storyteller that he is, was going to give us something very special. And the trailer looked hilarious, and the visuals just look very stunning. So you combine the two together, and a great director, you have a great story with some great action, and of course great characters. So I loved it from beginning to end, and both times I watched it, it was great. Okay, now this brings us to movie number 2, and that would be Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And what I really loved about Captain America: The Winter Soldier was that it was a comic book movie that brought us back to basics. Okay, I'm talking about masked hero type of a comic book movie. I'm talking about Batman style I guess a comic book movie, because out of all the members of the Avengers, Captain America is the one with the least spectacular power. He's faster and he's stronger. That's pretty much it, and a couple of other things, right? But other than that, he's a brawler. He's a skilled fighter. He's very athletic. He knows acrobatics. But other than that, we are going back to basics, and the fighting is very raw. It's very well choreographed, and a lot of what makes this movie very entertaining is that aspect of the film. The fighting and his skilled combat ability is an extension of that character, and we're so invested into the character that we want to see more of that. And with the addition of Falcon, it has a great balance of that basic comic book movie character action combined with the high-flying action that we usually get from your typical superhero movie, and that's from the the contributions of the Falcon character. So it's very, very well balanced, and that's what I really, really loved about Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And I love the fact that it really reminds you that it takes place immediately after the events of the Avengers. So very, very awesome, and I just love how it ties everything together. All right. So now this brings us to number one, and I'm sure you guys already know what this is. That would be Interstellar, directed by Christopher Nolan, one of my favorite directors of all time. He once again brings us a brilliant story, brilliant storytelling, and brilliant direction. Wow, this movie really blew me away. I saw this movie 3 times in IMAX, and IMAX is really the only way to watch this movie. I can't wait to watch this movie again once I pick it up on Blu-ray. But this was a movie that just, I was impressed by the visuals, the performances, the story was thought-provoking, and like I said, it really, really made you think, all right? There was a lot of elements in this movie which were subtly psychologically shocking. You know what I'm saying? It was just like they would talk about some things, and that alone would shock you, all right? When they said that, 1 hour equals 9 years or something like that, that in itself was shocking. And it's so believable. You're so invested into the characters from beginning to end because this is about saving the world, and he wants to see his kids again. That is something that everybody can relate to. Wanting to that yearning to see your loved ones again. That is something we can all relate to. And because that element is so strong, it makes us really want to root for the survival of the human race and the mission, of course. So I love this movie from beginning to end. I love this movie so much, and I'm actually having a hard time deciding if this movie is better than Inception or Inception is better than this movie. I'm still having a really hard time, but both movies are really well done, and Christopher Nolan once again gives us an amazing piece of art. All right. So there you have it. That's all I got to say in this video. Once again, I'm going to give you my top 10 list very, very quickly. So just to remind you guys, number 10, Transformers Age of Extinction. Number 9, Edge of Tomorrow. Number 8, Lone Survivor. Number 7, Gone Girl. Number 6, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Number 5, X-Men Days of Future Past. Number 4, Lego Movie. Number 3, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 2, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And number 1, Interstellar. Alright, so there you have it. That's all I gotta say in this video. This is the first video of 2015, and 2015 is gonna be a big year for the Ragin Nation and the Ragin Ronin review. We're gonna have a lot of great video content for you guys on this channel. Once again, we're gonna have more reviews. We're gonna talk a lot about the upcoming movies, Marvel films, DC Cinematic Universe, Star Wars. We're going to give you more top 10 lists and a couple new surprises along the way. So there you have it. Thanks to everybody for the support, and once again, as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. You can check out my photos and short videos on Instagram at The Ragin Nation, and let me know what your top 10 films of 2014 are in the comment section below. I'll see you next time. My name is Alex Yu. Peace. Star Wars spin-off film. We also know that Josh Trank is directing a Star Wars spin-off film, but the rumor going on right now is that